All right, for this segment, we're going to be looking at ideas in motion, and this is a pretty interesting one. This is going to be a particular set of ideas in terms of notions of the divine. More specifically, what we're going to be looking at is the Buddhist concept of the Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva are individuals who have achieved transcendence. They have broken out of the cycle of samsara, during which time they are trapped in the cycle of life and death on earth. But instead of achieving union with the universe, they choose to remain in contact with Earth in order to help others achieve salvation. And as Buddhism spreads across Asia, so do bodhisattvas. In particular, the most sort of widespread bodhisattva is Avalokitesvara, which is in Mahayana Buddhism means the Lord of the Earth. And the Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara is the bodhisattva who seeks to aid those who are in stress, who are in trouble, and especially those who reach out to him. And what's really interesting here is as the idea of the bodhisattva Avalokitesvara spreads across Asia, that bodhisattva changes. Initially in India and in Sri Lanka, the bodhisattva Avalokitesvara is male. Now this is interesting because bodhisattvas officially are neither male nor female. They are gender neutral. Yet, representations of the bodhisattvas tend to accent either masculine features or female features. And the name has changed. He is now a she, and she is now Guanyin, she who hears the cries of those in need. Guanyin is the name used in North China. In South China, in the Cantonese language, it's Guanyum. In Korea, it's Guanum. In Japan, it's Kennon. And in Thailand, it's Kuan Im, but they're all these same representations of a female bodhisattva. What's also interesting about this, and this is a really important theme for understanding all of our salvation religions and the concepts we've been looking at in the empires of ideas, is that this process of changing the bodhisattva is part of a process that we historians like to call indigenization. And that is that something which seems foreign, this is a deity coming out of some place like India and being transferred to China, by changing it and giving it a local flavor, making it look like a Chinese woman, for example, in the representations of Guanyin, it's something which is no longer foreign and is now becoming familiar. In fact, Guanyin has a number of stories that are told about her, about how she became a bodhisattva, which are really interesting. Now, there are a lot of these. There are different ones in Japan and Korea and in different parts of China, but one which I'll tell you now, which is kind of interesting, is that Guanyin is a beautiful young girl, but she suffers from having an overbearing and selfish father. And he decides that she must marry a man who is wealthy and powerful. And this is not what she wants out of her life. And she refuses to marry the men that her father selects. And as a result, her father seeks to punish her. He assigns her hard labor and exhausting chores, which she performs faithfully, but she still refuses to marry these wealthy, older, and not very appealing men. In the end, her father is so enraged that he has her executed. But she is so selfless that when the executioner cuts off her head, she takes upon herself all of the guilt that comes from the act of killing someone else, and as a result goes to the sort of Buddhist equivalent of hell. But when she reaches hell, she is so good and she has so much good karma that she transforms hell to a paradise, and that the sort of ruler of hell, Yun Sum, begs her to leave in order that his world may be unchanged, and she returns to earth as a bodhisattva. And that it's a very interesting story in that it's a sort of direct counter to the Confucius philosophy of Hizao, which is doing whatever your parents ask, but it also legitimates Gaoyin as a Chinese bodhisattva, not as an imported Indian bodhisattva. So that, Bodhisattvas in motion. Thank you.